All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Retriever Handler podcast. This is episode number 15, I believe. We are joined in by Blake Allen, someone we've wanted on for a while, and Bart and Ramsey actually have some good things to say about you, too. So after that, um, we kind of, wanted to, set it in stone and get you on here. So, Blake, I appreciate you coming on, and how's everything going?
Oh man, it's going good so far.
Yeah,
Episode number 15, so we're rolling.
15.
You rolling through them now, man. It's
That's it. It's funny. It's like when we were doing this in the fall, it was so much easier because it was getting dark out by 6 o'clock. And now it's like after work, I go and train the dogs and I come home and then I eat. And as you probably noticed, Bethany's not joining us. We just had too much stuff going on tonight. And she's like, I think I'm going to sit this one out. I was like, yeah, it's fine. Do whatever you
yeah,
need to do. So,
totally get it, man. It's
yeah,
still. I'm looking out the window now. It's still sunny and
yeah,
enough time to go, do something with the dogs and stuff in the
right,
afternoon. So
right.
totally get it, brother.
Yep, yep. It's just that crazy summertime and you're busy. But hey, I mean, that's the life we chose, right?
Yeah, right. We're living it every day. It's a
That's
it's a
it.
blessing to do so. Play with the dogs
Absolutely.
and have fun with those guys.
Absolutely. So, as you probably have noticed, we like to start with some rapid fire questions, just kind of get to know you a little better and get a taste of who you are. So, let's just jump right into it.
Yeah.
Favorite movie of all time?
Oh, the new Top Gun.
Okay.
Waiting for the third one to come out, so we'll see. My wife, I made her watch the first one. She's like, this I don't know if this is my jam." We saw the second one, a little bit better.
Yeah.
We'll see if she likes the third one. But,
Yeah.
no, the new Top Gun's probably up there for sure.
Good. Favorite TV show of all time?
Suits.
Oh, great
In a
show.
in a different world,
Yeah.
I'm a lawyer in a different world.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely the path. If I was a little bit smarter, I think I probably would have went down that road. But yeah, definitely Suits. I
What is that?
definitely love that one.
Harvey Specter? Was that his name?
Yeah, that's the man right
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
making stuff happen. So I mean, it's a cool show. It's
Yeah.
something to turn on, and it doesn't make you think too much. So you can sit
Right.
there and watching it and enjoy it.
Yeah. Favorite restaurant?
We have a spot here in town in Louisville, called Steak and Bourbon. It's, two favorite things. You can't go wrong. So we definitely frequently attend Steak and Bourbon. It's one of our go-to spots.
Nice. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Never, never. Can't do it, man. It's just something about it. Can't do
Uh,
it.
I
Nothing
agree with you.
wrong nothing wrong with it. Not my jam. Can't
Yeah.
do it.
Biggest fear?
Ooh, disappointing my parents.
Oh, good answer. Good answer. You think they're going to listen to this episode?
Probably not. Maybe. Maybe. If I send it to them, they might. I mean, I'm 30 years old. I got a speeding ticket 2 or 3 years ago, so I was 27, 28, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, "My mom's gonna be so pissed at me," but then I'm like, "Wait, I live on my own. I'm on my own insurance. I'm fine." I don't know, man. It's just stuck with me my whole life. I still have that fear today.
Hey, she raised you right then, right? If you don't have the fear
Oh,
of mom, then, she did something good.
yes. I think so, yeah. Absolutely.
um, so this one, not dog related. Biggest pet peeve.
Ooh. Not following up when somebody says they're gonna follow up.
Nice.
I can't do it. I'm in the people business. I deal with people, and we'll get in to that later. But I deal with people all day, every day, and that just it burns me up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll circle back with you, and you never get one. Oh man, that I hate it. Hate it. Hate it. Hate it.
Um, duck or goose hunting?
Ooh, definitely gonna go. I'm gonna have to go with ducks.
Favorite duck species to kill?
Favorite duck species. I think everybody's probably gonna say mallards in the woods, which is probably one of mine. But I'll mix it up. I'll go spoonbill and a flooded rice field.
Hardest drill or concept to teach a dog?
Oh god. There's probably a lot more that are hard, but the first thing I think that pops in mind, probably because of the videos I saw from the Grand, were inline marks. I think teaching a young dog inline marks are it can be a definite challenge. So I think that's probably the one that pops into my head most recently.
Nice. Yep, I agree with that. One thing you would change about HRC tests.
Maybe not tests as a whole, but I think it would be really cool if HRC clubs could just hold one flight. So one finish test. Like it's a finish test. Kind of mirror the master setup where it's just one finish test or a started test at a different date, but they just run a started test. I think that allows a couple different things. I think for your lower stakes, it allows them to maybe have multiple flights of started test. And then for your finish test, you can in the middle of summer potentially run one because you're like, I've got 40 dogs or 30 dogs or whatever ends up shaking out to be. I've just got one flight to finish. We can come in and finish some young dogs out or do whatever. I think that would be beneficial to every level is be able to break it up to add more flights for your younger dogs and then be able to be a little bit more picky with like finish tests. You can run them standing alone on themselves. I think that would be beneficial to me. To everybody, I
Yeah,
think that would be.
yeah. I never thought of that, but that is a good idea. And yeah, I mean AKC does it, so why not HRC, right? So yeah, I could definitely get behind that. Maybe that's something that maybe that could get into the works.
But you heard it here first. On your podcast, you heard it here first, so you never know what's gonna take off from now.
That's right. Yeah, breaking news. Breaking news. All right, cool. All right, we'll jump into the actual questions now. And this is brought to you by Alpha Dog Nutrition. Use code RH15 at checkout for 15% off your next order. Um, and check them out at Alpha Dog Nutrition. So, all right, let's get into it, Blake. Take us from the beginning. What got you into dog training?
I have no idea. I think I woke up one morning and lost my mind. It's probably the root cause of it, but I I know it. Yeah, I know it sounds like everybody else, man. But I was a young kid wanting a dog, and I was like, man, I saw some videos online and thought I could do it and couldn't do it, and I was like, I found just a neighborhood local breeder and got a dog that I thought was great, but it's everybody's first dog, right? And quickly kind of as I started doing research and getting analytical about stuff and trying to be better, I was like, man, I got to find a dog that's bred for this to be a good hunting dog and run, maybe some hunt tests and stuff like that. And uh, I truly just got into it, took that first dog, did some hunt tests and did really, really bad. And it just so happened that I met some of my best friends there, and one of the judges, Leroy Mason, was like, "Hey, you need to go talk to this guy over here, and he'll help you." And I went and talked to now one of my really good friends, Adam, and who taught me how to train, and the rest is history. And I found Rose, and we never looked back. We've been rolling ever since.
Did you grow up duck hunting?
No, Rose is 7. I've probably been duck hunting for 9 years now, 8 or 9 years. I did not grow up duck hunting. I grew up in the woods. I grew up, turkey hunting, deer hunting, stuff like that, just being outside fishing, things along those lines, but never duck hunting, never around big dogs. Went to school, went to college, finally, kinda got my own place about midway through my last semester of college, and was like, "Well, if I got my own place, I kinda need my own dog," and saw some videos of some really cool dogs. It just kinda how Facebook's always listening, so they plugged some stuff onto my algorithm, and I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, man, I'm hooked," and the rest is history. But no, I grew up in the outdoors, and my dad, all my family took me out, and we did stuff like that. But no, never duck hunting, never goose hunting, any of that. So it's been a wild 9 or 10 years now at this point.
So when you say you went to your first hunt test and you said it was, I don't know if you passed or failed, but talk us through that. What was that first experience like for you? And was it
Oh,
HRC
man.
or AKC?
It was HRC. It was I found I guess I think I saw a Facebook post about a test coming up, and, I started looking into what a hunt test is, and I was like, "Oh, man, I've been training, I can do that." Could not, shouldn't have been there. Didn't know, you you just don't know, right? And it was a good first experience to quickly get my teeth kicked in and quickly learn you gotta be a lot better at stuff like this, and you gotta have a really good dog. But the best thing that ever came from that failure was that people within that community were like, "Hey, you clearly want to do this. You clearly have tried and put in effort, but you just don't know what avenue to put your effort into. Let us help you. Like, let us if you're willing to put the work
Yeah.
in, we're gonna invest that right back into you." And if I wouldn't have had that, I mean, there would have been no way I've learned what to do, and I'm still learning on a daily basis. But it all started with a judge telling me to go talk to a guy that said, "Hey, yeah, call me and I'll help you." I don't think he thought I was gonna call him, and, I called him about 2 days later, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, we're gonna go train this weekend, come on out, you can just watch." So I get there, and everybody's running weed eaters and chainsaws and bush hog, and I'm like, "Okay, we'll do a little work, I'll jump in and run a weed eater," and about 6 hours later, they're like, "Alright, I think we're done for the day." I was like, "Okay." Next day, we'll be out there tomorrow. I was like, "Alright, I'll come out tomorrow, we'll do it again." I worked for another 6 hours, and they finally said, "Yeah, alright. This, uh, this guy's gonna stick around." So they kinda adopted me into the
Yeah.
circle, and we've never looked back, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, you paid your dues. That's what it takes sometimes to see if they trust you or not, if this guy wants to really stick around, right?
Oh, absolutely, man. I look back on it, and it's kinda what I do with people now that ask me if ask me for help and stuff. I'm like, "Yeah, I'll help you. Come on out." And some call me back and some don't, but I think that you gotta be willing to put the work in, man, and in whatever you do, right? And I think the willingness to put the work in it gives you the best results and really pushing through I guess, the not so fun stuff to get to the fun stuff, right? So it's all worth it in the end, man. We always do it for the dogs and hanging out with our buddies and enjoying going to tests and duck hunting. It's what we do it for.
Yep, I agree. So you buy Rose a number of years ago. What made you choose a British Labrador over, an American Labrador? What's kind of going through your head during that process?
Yeah. And just to be quite honest, at that point, I was still learning so much. I really truly didn't know the difference. Um, Through social media and some mutual friends and things like that, I found Barton and Southern Oak and was like, man, I'm looking through pictures and saw some dogs that really looked great. Saw Hank, which is Rose's dad, who had his Spanish title. I'm like, well, if that's what I kind of want to do. If the dad has it, I'd love to get on, a Hank litter. So submit the
So,
application. I think about 5 6 days later, Barton calls me and um he called me one afternoon, and I'll never forget. I was traveling for work. I was in the hotel, getting ready, I think, to go to a meeting, and he called me and he was like, "Hey, this is." We didn't know each other. He was like, "Hey, this is Bart Ramsey with Southern Oak Kennels." I was like, "Oh, that's pretty dang cool." Like he's actually calling me, right? And
yeah.
turns into a great friendship, right? But he said, "Hey, I know you put in and you were interested in a Hank litter." I was like, "Yeah." This is kind of what I'm doing. This is, where I live, all that stuff, right, that comes along with it. And I said, well, I saw a picture of a new import, Callie, literally the day she came over. I think they hunted her like 2 or 3 days later. So they said, hey, we got her. And then 2 or 3 days later, I saw a picture of her running down a pheasant. And I was like, I'd really like to get on if they breed those two dogs. I'd love to get on that litter." He's like, "Well, that's kinda funny you say that. She literally just came into heat." He's like, "If you want on, the pick is yours." I was like, "Yes. Where do I send the money?" And I didn't really know the nuances or the differences of American versus British kinda at that time, but I knew enough that I was like, "Hey, the dad can do it, clearly. The mom can clearly be a good hunting dog. Hey, that'll that's gonna work for me, right? That's gonna be good enough for me." And then as I can, obviously you feel like you're waiting for 10 years to get a puppy, from 8 weeks in the mama and or 9 weeks in and 8 weeks out, and you're like, "Gosh, I'm itching," right? And as that progressed, I was learning more, and I was like, "Man, I as soon as I picked her up, I was like, yeah, we're gonna really push to go as far as we can." Um, and run whatever hunt test we run, we're gonna run it, and we're gonna try to push and go as far as we can, and we've been very blessed with that we made it to the Grand, and we've had some success there, man, but it's been a fun 7 years. She turned 7, at the end of April, so she's starting to show some gray hair on her chin, which is a weird feeling seeing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know how that goes. Brantley, he's 6 now, and he turned gray probably like 4 or 5 years old. So it kinda every time I see it, it's like every day he has like a new gray hair, it just kinda breaks your heart in a way, but I mean,
Yeah,
that's
oh,
life.
absolutely.
But,
Yeah.
I don't know if I've actually ever been around a British lab. I mean, I probably have, but like I'm talking like close knit people, right? Not hunt test
Mhm,
related. They're there, but when people come to my house, I have American labs. They're going to jump all over them. They're high strung. What
mhm.
is the main difference, in your opinion, between a British lab and an American lab?
I think the main difference, uh, I think I think they're a little bit probably a little bit calmer in the house. I'm not saying night and day difference nowadays with how good breeding is on the British side and the American side. I think the gap of calmness and being able to come to the inside the house and sleep on the couch. I think that's kind of decreasing amount a little bit. But I think, yeah, I think in general the calmness of a British Lab is probably a little bit different than American dogs. Um, but I think it also depends on the breeding, and I think breedings are getting so much better on both sides, which is great for the consumer and great for people that are looking at dogs and not really knowing which avenue to go. They're getting better and better every day, and that's great, right? The British versus American, however you want to slice it, I think they're getting better. But I think, yeah, as a whole, probably just being a little bit calmer in the house. I think if you put Rose on the line versus an American dog, you couldn't tell the difference. And there's a lot of dogs like that. But a lot of British versus American dogs, if you ran them together, you probably wouldn't know, other than maybe a little bit of a size difference. But no, I think definitely in the house, definitely that's probably your draw, and I think that gap of American breedings versus British breedings is probably getting a little bit closer every day.
So did you go to Barton's headquarters to pick up Rose?
No, Rose was with, Wally and Don up north, so we drove to, like, the middle of nowhere, Michigan. I felt like I was gonna just drop off the face of the earth as I drove up north. We just kept going all the way up, it felt like. But yeah, we picked her up from Michigan, and Don and Wally, they're the best. We actually when we picked Rose up, they had just bought their new property that their kennel's on and just cleared it. So there were no kennels. It was just cleared ground. So we went up there and hung out, and it was all just burn piles everywhere, and what they've turned it into now is crazy. But we were up there before all that stuff, which is it's cool to see. I'm like, "Oh, I know exactly where that is," and, "Oh, I know I was there," but it's cool. But, yeah, we drove all the way up to Michigan, and met those guys and hung out with them for a couple days, and they invited us in, and we hung out with everybody and brought Rose home and never looked back.
When you get Rose in your head, are you thinking you're getting a hunting companion, or do you think you're getting a best friend? I mean, well, obviously all of our dogs are our best friends, but like, did you think in your head that I'm going to compete at in hunt test the day that you picked her up?
I thought so. Yeah, because all the guys that were really mentoring me and helping me, that's what they did, and that's what they do still to this day. So, in my mind, I was like, "Oh, this is what they do, that's what I'm gonna do," right? So, as I'm learning and Rose is growing and I'm getting, having a better skill set and better knowledge base, I was like, "We're gonna run hunt tests. We're gonna hunt." I met a bunch of buddies as through the dog world as everybody does. Started hunting with them and traveling and doing some hunting, here or there, and kind of fell in love with it. I'm like, "Well, I've got to have something to do outside the 60 days, so we're just gonna keep pushing and keep running hunt tests." I think that was my goal from the day I picked her up. Is maybe not to make a grand champion because you never know. There's a lot of good dogs that aren't grand champions. So I don't want to sit here and say like, yeah, I picked her up on day one and I picked her out as the next grand champion because I didn't. I just in my head was like, I'm gonna take this as far as me and the dog can take it. So if it takes us there, it takes us there. If it doesn't take us there, I'm still gonna put the effort in to get the best dog I can get and learn and continue to grow as a handler, and if it doesn't work out there, I'll get another one and so on and so forth, but no, the goal was never a grand champion. I think it quickly progressed into, "I think I've got something pretty good here. Let's run it and see what we can do," even from a young age, and once we got to that point, the sights were set and there was no stopping us. It was, "We're gonna do it or die trying," kind of a situation, and we were just gonna keep hitting it and keep trying to go as hard as we could, and, it worked. Luckily, it worked out in our favor.
Just so our listeners are aware, and maybe I'm wrong here, but there aren't like there's probably way more American grant hunting retriever champions than British, correct?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. They are out
Yeah.
there. It would be cool to say if I'm the only one, but I'm not. There's a lot of good dogs. I can think of 4 or 5 right now that I know are grand champions or have passed, and they had their grand title before they passed away that were British dogs. Um, I'd say without truly knowing numbers, I'd say probably 20 or less, give or take.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. That's that
those are very rough numbers, and that's me not knowing truly, but
yeah.
I mean, I like I said, I can name 5 or 6 right now off the top of my head, and there's more and more continuing to grow, but yeah, there's significantly less British grand champions, male or female, than American dogs because historically they just didn't run it right. They weren't bred for it. They just didn't do it. Um, Maybe they weren't bred to play that game, but I think as I kind of mentioned earlier, those breedings are getting so much better on American and British sides, right? So you're going to start seeing a lot more British grand champions, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing for the sport. It's a good thing for the breed. It's a good thing for people that are wanting a dog or already have a dog, to be like, "Oh, somebody has a British dog too, and they did it, and I'm gonna give it a shot." And that just gets somebody else, hooked into the game and loving it and being with their dog because that's what we all wanna do, right? No matter if you got 100 of them or 2 of them, you love them and they're your dogs, right? So, I think there's less, significantly less, but I think that number is gonna continue to climb definitely as the years and as more brands kinda tick through, they'll definitely be more, but yeah, there's significantly less.
So that brings me to my next question then. How the hell were you able to do it?
A lot of talking to God on the way to the line. Um, I'll be 100% honest with you. Without the people who mentored me, that Rose would not be the dog she is today. Um, I had some of the best mentors in the game helping me, and I got lucky with kind of geographically where I live and certain things of people in this area. Um, but without my mentors, I mean, you've got Adam Andrews, who's a really serious, amateur guy around here who taught me, but Steve Eric taught him, and Steve Eric taught Jeremy Legg, and then they taught me, and and Steve is still, was still running at the time, and I just kind of hooked on to him, and we all just kind of went together as a group and trained and ran tests and trials and stuff. And without those guys, um, there isn't a Rose and there isn't a me in the dog sense, um, kind of a situation. I just had some really good mentors, but I was also willing to put the sweat equity in, right? I was willing to get out there and at that time for 5 4 or 5 years of Rose's life, I was on night shift. So I'd work all night, go train all day, come home, sleep a couple hours, do it all over again. So I was willing to put the work in, but without my mentors that are friends, there is no Rose. There is no me, there is no Rose.
Jeremy Legg, I have been at hunt test with him, and he actually the first hunt test I was ever at, I saw him there, and I knew he was someone because he had a trailer full of dogs, and I just remember him being very, very professional and very approachable. I didn't go up and talk to him or anything, but he just seemed like a guy that you could talk to. So I'm assuming you have had the same kind of experience with him. Like, talk to me about your relationship with him.
Oh, Jeremy is one of the best dudes you could ever meet. Helped me a ton and absolutely, and I'm gonna block this part of the podcast out when I send it to him because his head will get so big it won't fit in my house. Um, I'm just not gonna tell him about this part of it. He can skip around it. But no, Jeremy's one of the best guys, super professional. His dogs look good. I mean, this past grand he went 10 for 12, if that says anything. So solid as they come. But we all kind of come out of the Steve Eric umbrella who mentored Jeremy, and Jeremy and Steve kind of do their thing, and other, Adam Andrews who mentored me, we all kind of go up to one person, and Jeremy has just taken it and ran with it, and he's awesome. His dogs look good. Um, he's a good person, and he's definitely taught me a lot. I was actually just talking to him today. He won the SRS yesterday and had a first and a fourth, I think, in Wisconsin 3 weeks after the Grand or 4 weeks after the Grand, whatever it is. It's pretty solid. He's on a really good run right now. But yeah, Jeremy is you gotta talk to him, man. He'll talk to you forever. You see him again, you gotta let him know that that we know each other, and just he'll just sit there and talk to you. He wants everybody to do good, man. And that's what it takes in this game. Everybody helping each other out and wanting everybody to succeed. And he definitely does. And he's helped me a ton, and he's a really good dude. Really good
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, that's like the exact impression I got from him. He just seemed like a stand up guy. So yeah, hopefully I do run into him again, and I'll definitely try to. That was like my first hunt test ever, so I didn't want to get in the
Yeah.
way. I didn't know what was going on. I just knew this guy was. I didn't even know who he was, but I'm like, well, he must be somebody. I mean, look at the size of his trailer. So at that point, I was just kind of in awe, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to talk to him, but now that I've done it a few, they're just guys, so,
Yeah.
um, you know, this season and, hunt test coming forward, I'll, kind of get out of my shell a little bit and talk to these guys more. But,
Oh, absolutely.
so, British labs are also kind of known for being maybe a little bit soft, right? And I know Wally, those guys do use e-collars, but not so much to teach as to correct, right? So at least
Mhm.
that's how Barton explained it to me, which I
Yeah.
didn't know that's what they did. So did you use an e-collar with Rose?
Yeah, yeah, so roses. Rose has had a collar on her whole life, from 5, 6 months old on. She's gone through a force-based program, I guess you could say. Kind of all originates out of that farmer lardy kind of background of it, right? Kind of the origins of dog training, collar conditioning, force fetch, force to pile, force to water, stuff like that. Um, she went through all of that just as if she was an American dog. So she was training at the same time as American dogs, and she was going through the program as the same at the same time, and we went with it, and it worked. Now I don't have to, or really not have to. I can't use as much pressure on Rose. She's more on the softer side, but she can still handle the pressure and understands what turns it off and what creates that problem, right? So teaching her what turns it off and that indirect versus kind of like the direct pressure situations, she can handle the pressure. It doesn't take a lot, but she did go through that force-based program and was able to do so. I just didn't use it as much as, probably I could've. I always err on the side of caution. So I definitely go down a notch or 2 compared to what I think I can use, especially with British dogs that are a little bit softer. But no, she went through the force program. She's got her e-collar on still to this day when we train, and, all the dogs that come through my kennel wear a collar, and, I've had 2 or 3 British dogs come through here, that have handled it and handle it well. I've got one right now in the kennel that's her daughter, and she's had a collar on since I've had her, and she's an absolute rock star. She's a fun dog to be around, and very much like Rose, can handle the pressure, but it doesn't take a lot.
Was that going through your head as maybe a concern when you were, going to pick up Rose? Like, "Hey, I do wanna take her as far as I can go, but maybe she won't be able to handle pressure."
Oh, 100%. As you learn more, it's like, "Oh god, did I make the right choice?" Right? You always wonder that. Whatever you're doing, you're gonna go buy a new truck, you're gonna pick out a dog, whatever. When you're on your way to do it, you're like, "Is this did I make the right choice?" Right? It 100% was a thought, but talking to Barton and talking to Don and Wally and understanding the pedigrees of Hank and Callie, mom and dad, I was like, we're gonna be able to do this, and that's a cool part about that application process. If you've ever gone through it, you've got to answer a ton of questions
Yep.
and do all that stuff. Huge benefit I think that they do really really well is putting the right dog with the right owners. Um, and I got lucky and got Rose and, it all worked out, but it always is a worry. There's also American dogs that you have that worry with too, right? It's like,
Yep.
you get them home and mom and dad are multiple time grand champion master hunters, and it doesn't happen always, but it happens some, you're like, "Oh crap, they can't take pressure. This is not gonna fit in my system." There's always that fear, but I made it work, and we adapted some things as kinda we went through the program. It was like, "Yeah, she can't handle X, so we gotta do Y." And, we just made it work, and she progressed really quickly, and Rose is the type of dog that you show it to her once, she's gonna understand it. She might not do it right every time, but once you show her how you want her to do it and let her know that and reinforce that, she's pretty solid on staying consistent as a whole and not requiring a bunch of pressure, which is good, which helps out in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I have one of my, Pilot, an American Lab, he's on the softer side of things, right? So, I have to be careful with pressure, like,
Mhm.
he kinda, like, will, like, whimper down a little bit, when if I say sit, he doesn't sit, and I maybe give him a correction, he'll, like, kinda whimper down. He knows how to turn it off, but
Yeah.
he'll just that's just the way he is, so I have to be careful with him. But, forced to water anything, and I don't abuse knee collar by any means, but he knows exactly how to turn it off, right? He'll go full force into that water. But
Mhm.
it's just sometimes I'll look at him and I'll say sit, and he just kind of like goes like this, and it's just Yeah, so it can go both ways. It's not just British dogs; it can be American dogs too. Um, so yeah, that's interesting. Um, what year did Rose pass the grant?
Oh god, I should have wrote that one down. She passed it the fall grand of 23
Okay.
and the fall grand of 22, 21 or 22. It was St. Louis, and then we passed our very first one that we ran, which is a crazy story that we can get into. We went out in the 3rd series, the next one, the 4th series, then no, went out in the 3rd of the 2nd Grand we ever ran, went out in the 1st Grand, went out in the 4th, and then we passed. So we took our fair share of lickings and butt kickings, and we got the first one out of the way at the very first one, and thought, oh, okay, all right, we got one done. The second one will be the easy one. No, second one was the hardest one because then because you know you have to do it. There's an expectation after you get the first one. You're like, I just got to keep running it. So we had a few hiccups in between our first one and our final one for our title, but every one we got better. You know, we made it to the 4th series, we made it to the 3rd series, and then we had an unfortunate one where we went out in the 1st. But every one we ran, we made a fairly deep run, in my opinion. And every time we got a lot better. But there's a lot of training that goes on in between all those grands, right? But we got a lot better. I was very fortunate to make some deep runs to get better as a handler, and really learn. I mean, she had her first grand pass at like 2.5 years old. I think she was like 2.5, with one eye. Um, yeah, one eye, first 2.5 years old, no expectations, didn't know what I was doing, very nervous, all the things. Yeah, so we were pre-grand training in Kentucky, and we were like 3 hours away from St. Louis. So we're like, all right, we're gonna train all day Friday, early, early afternoon. We'll just head out there, air dogs, shut it down for the night, and because you got to be there like 5 a.m. For checks and stuff. So we shut it down, put her in the kennel. I aired her before we left. Nothing, no problems, normal dog. Throw in the box, and we head out to St. Louis. And when we get to St. Louis, I open up the kennel door, and she's got one eye closed and her head's tilted, and I'm like, just the worst feeling you could ever have. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. She's never been hurt before, like never been hurt before. Like the only vet visits we've ever done were for shots. Like she just never. I just got lucky, right? And we have a guy that we train with, Dr. Tony Schumann, who runs the Grand and does and judges and does all kinds of stuff with the Grand. So he was there, and we, I've known Tony this whole time, and so I rushed to Tony's hotel, and he's like, I think she's got a seed. So he cleans her out really good and like gives me some medicine. He's like, if she's not better in the morning, go watch Test Dog, and then come find me at the other flight. I was like, cool. It was way worse. It was dripping. It was really bad. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't sleep. It's just all bad. So that's the first day. Now, so the first morning of my first ever grand that I've ever ran, I have a dog in the truck as I'm watching Test Dog that I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to run. I'm just here at this point. So watch Test Dog. It's a test. It's a check down bird, kind of over a hill, swing right, angle back, and then your punch bird is as far as you can go down a hill and up a hill, and then on a plateau. So it was eating them up. So I'm like nervous about that. Then I'm like, I've got to go find Tony. So Tony checks her out, and he's like, "Man, she has cut her eye from corner to corner." He's like, "She is just filleted." He's like, "It didn't get into like the cornea and all that stuff, but like that most outer layer, it just cut it." Um, so he put dye in it and examined it, and he's like, "Yeah, here's some pain medicine, here's some antibiotics." let me see what I can do. He kept working with her and he's like, every hour, give her these drops. Every 3 hours, like, give her this pill. And hopefully she'll be better by the time you run today. If you're lucky, you'll get a run tomorrow because if I could get more time between me and having to run, the better her eye would be. So I'm giving drops every hour, and the test is taking forever because a lot of people are having to handle on the long bird, on the go bird. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get a run tomorrow. So I'm up every hour that night going into the second day, which is my day one. We run that morning, like 8 or 9, so I'm probably 10 dogs in, go up. First bird comes out good, pop. I look, she sees it. I'm like, okay, all right, we're good. Second bird, winger falls completely over.
Jeez.
And I'm like having like a nervous breakdown on the line. Unload the gun, have to go back three. So there's pictures of me standing in like behind the truck before you get to the holding line, like this. Like I'm just squatted down, hands on my face, like God, get me through this, man. Because I was like, I don't know if she's got one eye. I don't even know if she can see the long bird or the short bird. I'm not just worried about the long bird. I'm worried about them all because she can't see. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So first, once we come up to the line again, first bird, I look, she sees it. Second bird sees it. I kind of really leaned forward as much as I could. Pop. I look down. I'm like, she kind of when she sees something, she kind of tilts, got a little head tilt, and she was like tilted a little bit more than normal. And I'm like, I sent her. She goes out there and just goes, wow, just puts her foot on it. I was like, all right, nerves go away. Like, we're good now. It's over. We've got one. All right. Then it's like, okay, you're not nervous. Then you start thinking about, okay, what's my game plan? I got two other marks in a blind. I got to figure it out. So then you start getting nervous about that. So we go out there. She picks him up, runs a really nice blind. I'm like, cool. Now I got more time. So every day that we were there, her eye got like a lot better, luckily through the meds and stuff. But I was up every hour for that whole week of the grain, giving medicine and eye drops and all that stuff. I barely slept. I looked like a zombie by the time we got to the upland. But then again, it comes back to the group of people that you know and the friends that you create. Without Tony Schumann, that eye would not be normal. And made a 100% full recovery. We actually went to his clinic a couple days after the grand when he got home, and he checked her out and was like, "Man, she looks great. We're good to go. It healed up, no infection, no anything, and some tailgate vet medicine. It worked out, man. We were very blessed, and it was a tough one, but we got through it.
So you wake up on that day two, which is your day one. What's her eye look like at that point?
So it was open a little bit, but the moment we went outside, the sun was up, and as soon as the sun hit it, she like winced and it went
Oh.
closed. I'm like, we're toast. So I just kept giving her the drops as I should, and whatever it is, I'm not a vet, so whatever he said, I just took it, and like I did not miss. And I think it was to help with the pain and all that stuff. So we kept doing that, and by the time we were up to the line, I like got her out. I normally don't air like super super early at the Grand because you kind of are just like sitting around waiting, and you don't want to get them out, get them excited, put them back up. You just don't want to keep flip flopping them anyway. So I kind of try to time it out. But for her, I was like, I've got to get her out early because I got to get her eye like reacclimated to the sun. Um, so I got her out fairly early and just kind of started walking some laps and getting her in the shade and out of the shade. And once the shock, I guess, of like, okay, it doesn't hurt as bad anymore. She started to open her eye up a little bit. So it wasn't like it was fully shut, but every day it got wider and wider, which is perfect for us. But yeah, every day it got better. So after we got through that first day, we were every day making some big changes on the eye. He checked it every night for me, and Tony looked at it every night and was like, "Yeah, we're good. We're doing the right thing. Keep going." And it was a really good run. We were clean up until the fourth, and I had a marginal blind, really tough, kind of down the shore, across the cove, and back up a hill, and it was marginal. it was still a really nice blind, but for the grand, it was marginal. So we got dropped down to ones on the 4th day, and that's okay. You got a handle. I didn't wanna take it with me anyway, so
Right.
we ran it and we did really well, and she loves the upland game. That's kinda her jam, and I feel if I can get to the upland, I feel really, really good, because she loves that part of it. I think she loves the upland part of probably either the same or if not just a little bit more than the actual kinda like the hunt test style stuff.
Well, that's cool. So out of that, you said earlier maybe 20, 30, whatever British labs that have passed the grand. How many of those do you think passed with one eye?
Probably none. Hopefully none. I hope I hope nobody had to go through that
Yeah.
stress
Yeah.
of that whole week.
Yeah.
Um, and, she got like I said, she got better every day, so one eye may you know,
Yeah.
I didn't have a pirate up there, but it on day 1, it was definitely not as open as you
Yeah.
definitely want both eyes at the Grand, and I had about 1 and a half
Yeah.
going into the first day, but by the end, she was back to normal, but it was a stressful 48 hours of life for there for a little bit, but it was all good. It all worked out in the end.
That's super impressive. So, um, you passed the first time and then I don't want to say fail because I mean you're at the grand. I mean, yeah, it's a fail, but like, is it really? Because you're at the grand, so you have some we'll say you have some trouble
Uh,
following up. And then the second pass that you got, where was that at?
uh, it definitely feels like a fail when you walk away. I can
Yeah.
guarantee you that, but I can promise you, you learn more preparing for the grand or preparing for a weekend hunt test and going and doing it than you would just sitting at home like, "I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet." I think the preparation leading up to it and then actually getting there, whether it's a weekend test or the grand or a master test or whatever, I think getting there is half the battle, and when you get there, you're learning every day. You're watching and you're learning. So yeah, you're right. It may go down on a sheet of paper as you didn't pass, but you definitely learn and take that and get better from it. Right? I think that's what matters in between. My second pass was in Keville, Kentucky,
Okay.
in 23, so it'd been, like, October early 2nd or 3rd week of October of
o-
2023.
Okay. So were you at the spring grant
The
this year?
one the one that just happened?
Yeah.
No, I sat at home with my whiskey and watched everybody else stress about it, and I sat at home and enjoyed not having it. I've got a lot of young dogs, um it just didn't work out kinda like a timing wise to make that trip and go with Rose. Um, it just didn't kinda work out timing wise and being able to get her ready with everything else I kinda had going on at this point in my life. So I just said, I'm not gonna halfway do anything. So I'll just stay at home and she's done more for me and connected me with more people than I ever could imagine. So she's asleep with my wife and son right now in the bed, so she's done enough. She can just hang out.
So is she done competing then?
No, no, she just ran a finish test on Saturday, so just a couple
Okay.
days ago. So she just ran a finish test. We got a master test coming up in July. Thinking about some other stuff, just kind of enjoying her and having fun. Um, our club hosts some master tests and stuff like that throughout the year, so we'll go run our club test and have fun. But um, I don't want to say never, but we'll see. I don't have it's kind of a situation where I can focus on the young dogs and she can go out there. We'll still train and still grind, but take the pressure off of her and let her just kind of enjoy life and stay in shape. And we'll go run our club tests and support our local clubs, and hang out with our buddies and enjoy it. But we'll see. I've got some stuff coming. We'll see if it all shakes out.
Are you a member of an HRC club or just an AKC club?
Both.
What's
So
what's the
yeah,
HRC club you're a member at?
I'm a member of Inducky HRC.
Oh,
So
okay.
in
Okay.
Indiana, Kentucky, we run up towards like the BB, Indiana area, Northern Kentucky area.
Yep.
And then our AKC club is Bourbon Hills Retriever Club.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we kind of run around like the central Kentucky area. So those are HRC and AKC, but there's a lot in Region 6 that I'm a part of in HRC that are close enough that we can get to. I'm in a really good spot. I can get to 3 or 4 finish tests or HRC tests a year, and 5 or 6 master tests within a couple hours. So really good spot.
We went to an Indiana club, and I'm trying to remember the name of the club, and it's not coming to me. Are you a member of anything in Indiana?
No, I know there's Ohio River that runs in Indiana. There's a couple other Hoosier, I think it's Hoosier something HRC, but
Yeah.
those are more like the northern Indiana area. I'm really kind of just stay in that southern Indiana area.
Okay. Yeah. I can't remember. I didn't really have a great experience there. In fact, we came back. That was with Brantley. He went 0 for 2 in season there. So I don't. Not that it was any of it was our fault we didn't pass, but there were some
Yeah.
other things that I just didn't like. But
Or you come down and hang out with us anytime you want.
yeah.
We're pretty laid back people around here.
No, I've heard great things about Inducky. A guy in our club, he's always told me, he's like, you got to get there. You have to go there. Like, you'll love it. The grounds are awesome.
Yeah.
And do you, when is did you already have an HRC test for Inducky?
No, we typically do it in the fall. Um,
Perfect.
but
Ah,
but it's this it the availability of the farm that we normally have. It's the only weekend they're available is the first weekend of the Grand. So we're not gonna be able to, but we'll be back in 27. We'll
okay.
have a couple in 27 for sure. You have to come down and run it with us.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, heard great things. So, and we're in Pittsburgh, so we don't, I mean, we have our Southwestern PA club, and there's another club, High Flyers, but,
Hmm.
we're usually traveling. So, um, that's something that we'll definitely do.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
kind of switching gears here. Let's talk about Bourbon Trail Retrievers. Um, why did you start? What made you want to start this?
Yeah,
And second question to that is why the name?
I got you. So I I'd always kind of, obviously you start with rows and I'd done some stuff kind of periodically. Hey, can you help me with, with X, Y, and Z? And I was like, yeah, you come over to the house. I'll help you. I really started doing that. And then had a dog. I was able to I bought a dog, an American Lab that is really nicely bred. He's actually still here, but I sold him. So I had him for like 6 months, and I was like, "Hey, I'm just gonna sell him." That was kind of the goal anyway, right? Force fetch, collar condition. You go on, you go live your life. The guy that bought him was like, "Whoa, who do I call?" And I kind of named, a bunch of people around this area that are really good that I trust and respect. And he's like, "Well, you've had him for 6 months. Do you want to keep him? And I'll pay you to train him." I was like, "Yeah, I would love to." So that was kind of the start of it. That started in 24, been like the fall of 24. And really kind of just I keep it small, 3 or 4 dogs at a time. Rose had a litter last year, that had we had 8 puppies. I've had 2 of them back in training. I had 1 for a couple months for force fetch and collar conditioning, and I've had 1 for she'll go home in August, and I've had her since February. So, I've gotten to see 2 out of the 8, which is really cool. And, just training a few here or there, keeping it small. I do have a day job, so I do have to I unfortunately don't get to play with dogs all day, but, I have a job that's pretty flexible with me that allows me to kinda slide out. And where we're located is literally the start my house is probably 15 minutes away from the start of the Bourbon Trail.
Okay.
So, Jim Beam, Four Roses, Maker's Mark, all the cool ones, Buffalo Trace, all the cool ones are within half an hour, 45 minutes of my house. So my wife was like, "Well, we just call it all your dogs are named after, because I've got Rose, who's named after whiskey. The dog that I bought is named Rye. I've had a Weller. I've had all kinds of whiskey named dogs that are kinda in this area that just showed up, so it really kinda just stuck and it worked out that everybody was named after whiskey, so we're just gonna call it Bourbon Trail Retrievers, and it worked out.
Perfect. What is, if you don't mind me asking, what is your day job?
So I am a labor relations supervisor for a Ford Motor Company.
Oh, nice.
So
Is that a,
I'm here.
is that a work from home job?
I wish. It would be really cool if it was. It would be the perfect job if it was work from home.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna send this to my boss once it posts, let her know to go to this point and listen to this part.
Yeah.
Uh, no, it is not. We are where I live, we have 2 Ford plants. So
Okay.
we build the Super Duties and then the new electric vehicle that's about to come out. Um, stay tuned for more. But that's where I'm at. I'm at the electric vehicle place. So,
Gotcha.
we're going through some major stuff right now, which is really exciting, but that is my real job, that pays my bills. I think dog training, I just spend on more dogs and duck hunting stuff, so I don't know if it makes
Yeah.
me any money whatsoever, but it's a lot of fun.
You're doing like exactly kind of what Bethany and I wanted to do, right? So we bought those two puppies, uh, and we were going to sell them as started dogs, but one thing led to another. We had Deuce sold. We were going to keep Pilot, um, and then the night before, we're like, yeah, we're not doing it anymore. Still feels super bad. I highly doubt that guy is listening to this podcast, but if he is, I'm still very sorry. Um, but how did you do that? Because that is not easy.
I don't know, I think I went in knowing I was gonna that was the goal. I was
Oh,
given an
so
opportunity.
did we.
I get it. I don't know. I think that's how I kind of s now I think I like him more
Yeah,
than my own dogs. He's a part of the family. He just lives here.
yeah,
He goes home. He just kinda pops back in. It's a really cool setup, man. He kinda just comes and goes as he pleases, and his owner will take him for a while, and they'll go out of town, and he just shows back up at my house. Um, but I don't know. I don't have, like, an emotional attachment to stuff like that. Like, if I know going in, like, "Cujo, I'm not gonna see you in 8 months," like, "Sayonara, brother, you're gone." I don't know. I've just been able to kinda disassociate, and it's part of the game, right? It's part of doing it. You wanna do a good job, and you wanna hand that dog off to somebody who's really looking for, like, a starter dog or a force fetch dog or whatever. I think I get more enjoyment out of doing like that, giving a dog to somebody that's trained, that you sell to them, that they're super excited for. That I like that just as much as training how I trained Rose. Um, I don't think I could have ever sold Rose. I
yeah,
I don't think I think there I mean, there was a number at one time, but I don't know if I could have ever done it. I don't know if I could have ever stuck with it and been like, "Yeah, here you go, just cut me a check." She means too much to my family, and I mean, we ran the Grand that when she got her title, that was in October like 17th. My son was born no my son was born September 3rd.
oh, wow.
So he was born, a little over a month before the Grand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so holy cow, how did you manage all that?
I don't sleep, man. I mean, I trained really hard knowing that, like, hey, we're probably gonna have a kid, like, around September
Yeah,
first couple days of September, and I was like so I was pushing really, really hard. I was like, "If I keep her in shape, I can stay on top of her, peak her, because when you get ready for a big test or any test, you kinda wanna kinda peak them at the right time." I'm like, "Okay, if I can get her to, kinda grind and kinda get her to the bottom of that mountain by the time my son's born, I can peak her within 2 or 3 weeks and get her, grand ready. I'll be good to go."
yeah,
And, we I was at work and my wife on a Friday, and my wife said, you need to get home." And I think I drove about 100 miles an hour home and rushed to the hospital, and they're like, we're not ready yet, all this stuff, and I don't remember any of that. I don't know if you have kids or not, but if you do or when you do, you will understand like the chaos of getting your wife safely to the hospital.
yeah,
So we all of that, I rushed, got my go bags ready, and, we do that, and they're like, "No, you need to go home." So we go home. Wait, so we come home, and she's walking around our island of our house and walking down the driveway and, like, trying to get this baby out, and finally, that Saturday morning about 3 a.m., she's like, "Ah, we gotta go." So,
Yeah.
rush to the hospital. I call my mom on the way, and I was like, "Need you go get Rose, take her home, just walk her a couple times a day, keep her in shape, don't give her any snacks. Gotta go." Click.
Famous
So
last words.
yeah. So we go, and we were in the hospital for like 4 or 5 days, and we come home, and I just had a really good support system, man, that I could be a dad first and a husband first, and if I had some time, go train. And really had some people, family and friends that would come over and help Erica and help the baby, my wife, as we would go through the newborn trenches, and I'd slip out and go train for an hour or two, or I'd slip out on a Saturday and go train all day because we had some help at the house, and I had the support to do that, and I'm very blessed for that part. And that's the only way I could pull that off is it was a team effort. We're like, we need one more pass. It's the she's peaking at the right time. Going into that fall grand in 23, she looked really good, and it's like, we just gotta keep it going, and not a lot of support to keep those good vibes rolling, and we're able to walk out with it. But normally, I don't sleep at the Grand. That one, I slept really, really good.
I bet. I bet you
Oh, yeah.
did.
Oh, yeah.
You
That
took
one was
advantage of that.
that one was about an 8 o'clock bedtime every night. We
Yeah.
were we were asleep.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's been a common theme on this podcast that it's a support system, just like you said, right? Um, we don't have kids, but there's still times when I want to go out training and, Bethany has some things to do around the house and I feel bad sometimes leaving, her to do some things around the house, like I said, but you know, it's nice that she still doesn't bat an eye at it. She knows it's what I
Yeah,
love to do. So without that, I mean, yeah, it would be absolutely miserable. You wouldn't be able to do it. So, um, yeah, you aren't the only one to say it about the support system, but it is 100% true. And when you have kids, yeah, you guys need to be a team with that, and um, it takes team effort, exactly like you said. Um, how many dogs do you have right now in the kennel? That's in
I've
train.
g yeah, I've got 3 right now. One goes home tomorrow.
Oh,
Um, yep, so one got her got some final points that she needed for some stuff, the other day with me, got a final finish pass, got her done. She goes home tomorrow, and then I've got 2 other dogs. One goes home in August, and I don't know, one pretty Rye just lives with me. He's pretty much my dog. He comes and goes, man. There is no set schedule for my main man Rye. He just shows up. So I don't know where he's at right now. He's at the house right now, but who knows when he goes home. But it's cool. It works. That system works for his owner, which has become a dear friend of mine, and it just works out well for us. But I try to keep 3 or 4 in the kennel. Um, with my job, it's a lot. It's a lot of mental stress. I don't physically work hard, but there's a lot of mental capacity load right there to have to deal with it, and so I don't want to overload kind of both sides of it. So I still keep 3 or 4, keeps me busy, allows me to be a good husband and a good dad, and then also be a good dog trainer in the afternoon. Because if I had 10, it wouldn't be fair to the clients that are trusting me with their dogs. So I just keep 3 or 4. Um, when spots open up, if somebody has interest, they reach out, and it works out really really well. But I keep it really small on purpose so I can build the best quality dog, that I have, because every dog in here I'm touching multiple times. We're doing drills before work, we're training after work, force fetching, before and after work, stuff like that. That's why it'd be really cool if it was work from home. Mr. Ford, if you're listening, I need to work from
yeah.
home. Um, but yeah, I keep it small. I keep 3 or 4, and that still lets me train Rose.
Yeah.
So 3 or 4, including her.
So, minus the dog that's going home tomorrow, the other two dogs, what levels are they at?
One has 2 finish passes, so he just needs
Okay.
2 more. We'll he's field trial bred top and bottom, so he's super, super hot. So he's gonna get shut down till the fall. Um, we'll run a couple tests in the fall and hopefully finish that out. And if he shows some more maturity and some stuff, we'll potentially make a grand run with him. He's probably one of the most talented dogs I've ever stood next to. Probably just just natural ability. Just got to tone it down just a little bit more, and he'll be really really talented. But he's 2.5.
Yeah.
So, he's still really young, no real time frame on him, we're just gonna keep training him, he picks up a ton of pheasants, during hunting season, so he gets his workout in over the winter, um, and, uh the other dog, JoJo, which is a puppy of Rose, um, she just picked up 2 starter passes this weekend, so,
Nice.
um, we're gonna keep training and potentially bump up to seasoned early fall, late summer if we can get it, in the time frame of her going home. But she's a really nice dog, so much like her mom. It's really cool to see. So got some, a finished, young finished dog that's getting there, still needs some passes. I've got Rose, and then I've got JoJo, which is her daughter, who's kind of transitioning into that early season level work. Through water tea and swim by and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going through swim by right now.
That's my
That
favorite drill. That's my
you know,
favorite.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, as much of like sometimes as a pain as it can be, it is a lot of fun to do.
There's no stress, man. There's no
Yeah.
stress in swim by. You just, I mean, you just got to teach them to go left and right with a bumper in their
Yeah.
mouth. And
It's it's
I
fun.
it's a lot of walking. The way I
It's
do it is the way I
yes.
do it. There is a lot of walking around the pond banks, and
Oh, yeah.
I think that's why I like it so much because I can get a ton of steps in and still be active while doing a drill, and I think it's cool to watch that click in a dog. But oh yeah, I can do it, man. That'd be my claim to fame. I always do swim by with everybody. Um,
Yeah.
but no, I do enjoy that drill. I've got a lot of favorites, but that's definitely up there. I enjoy it and watching them get through that. That when it's done the right way, it's super super beneficial and can
Oh,
make a
yeah.
big difference in the long run.
Like you said, when that clicks, it's like the coolest thing to see. It's like they start to get it and it just clicks in their head and it's just like, oh, thank God. And it's just so rewarding to see. And also how you said about all the walking around, the pond the pond that we do it in isn't really a great swim by pond. But I make it work because I don't really
Hmm.
have anything else to do.
Yeah,
Do swim by in. But there in the one corner, there's a big apple tree. And every time I walk around it, like I'll lose vision of the dog. And I'm like, I'm saying over, 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 and then they like look at me and they're like, "Holy shit, where'd he go?" And then
yeah,
I but I
Johnny.
got to
Yeah,
run around that apple tree real quick, and then keep going over, over. It's always funny, but yeah, you get your steps in during that drill.
yeah. Their dogs are like, "Who's Johnny Appleseed? What is tree telling me to go over? I'm not going over there. I'm going the other way." Yeah, I got a fairly decent spot that's flat all the way around, so
Yeah,
I can hoof it back and forth, which is nice as long as the
yeah,
grass stays cut. I can hoof it
yeah,
back and forth.
yeah. Is I don't know. I've never had a female dog, and I don't know what the age limits are. But is Rose done breeding?
No, no. Again, I'm not a vet, right? So I consult with Tony, and as long as Tony says she's healthy, we'll do it. We've got a plan breeding in the fall. Be some really cool stuff coming this fall. Working with Barton and Miles on some really cool stuff. That if it all lines out and works out well, it's going to be a really special breeding. So we're working on that, but I take her to Tony and do blood work and a full blood panel and all that stuff that he thinks should be tested for before you try to have a pregnancy. He'll test for all that in June or July of this year and make sure we're good. And if we need to make any adjustments, with whatever he prescribes or says we should do, whether it's change diet or do, feed differently or whatever it may be. We've followed that path, and we're planning on a fall litter this year, and I'm keeping one and I'm not gonna sell it. So it'll be another one. It'll be Rose 2.0. So
Nice.
we're gonna try it again, and we'll be we're gonna have our own puppy. I had 2 puppies at the house today, helping some clients out, like really little puppies. And I you couldn't have peeled my son out of the yard. It was 2.5, he's 2.5, so, he loves little dogs,
Yeah.
and 2 little puppies, 2 little yellow lab puppies running around chasing him. You couldn't have peeled him out of that yard. He was not going inside, so he stayed out there with me and helped me train dogs. He walked one on a leash while I was doing some teaching him how to, all the fun puppy stuff, crate training and all that
Yeah.
stuff, so he loves it as much as I do, so it's really cool. But yeah, absolutely. We're gonna have something in the fall. I think there probably is an age range. I'm not gonna continue to breed. Um, as long as she's healthy and able and willing, people are willing to purchase those puppies. Um, maybe one more, but probably this will be it. It'll probably be it. Probably shut it
So,
down after this one.
will you only breed to other British Labradors?
Yeah, yeah. Not that I'm gonna speak out of both sides of my mouth and be very political here, right? But not that I am against people that do that, right? But personally, I have a British dog who's very well bred from British lines. It would be a disservice to the lines that I have right now from her parents that people put all that effort into and bred really nicely, titled British labs to mix kind of an American lab with a British lab. I just keep it consistent and breed the really nice British dogs and continue, as we talked about earlier, right? Breedings are getting better on both sides. Being blessed with a British Grand Champion to be able to breed to a really highly titled British male dog and better the British lines, and those puppies continue to be better, and those puppies continue to maybe run some trials and tests in their future. I think that's the best avenue, right? Personally, I'm
Yeah.
not against, different strokes for different folks, but I think personally, I wouldn't do it or suggest that people do it. But I think staying, I've got a grand champion British dog breeded to like a field trial champion from the UK, or there are male grand champion British dogs breeded to a grand champion British male dog to a grand champion British female dog. It's going to make some really nice British puppies, right? And I think that's the goal: is to better the breed, and I have an opportunity to produce that, and it's a cool thing. And there's a lot of people doing that, and it's getting better and better on both sides, and it's really good for the game, and it's really good for people that want just calm duck dogs that are really talented. I think it's getting those breedings are coming more and more prevalent, and it's on both sides of the pond, I guess you could say. No pun
Yeah.
intended. Both sides of the pond. But yeah, I will only breed to a British dog.
And is it safe to say that you'll always own a British dog?
No, no,
No.
no. There's a few that I've got. There's a few American litters that I am waiting on. That
Okay.
if they happen, make sure my wife. Yeah, if they happen, I will have. She's the door. I had to make sure the door is always shut. If they happen, I will have. I love British dogs. It works with like my style. It kind of works with the way that I train and do things. So I am kind of partial to a British dog. But not so much in the sense like I'm only gonna own British Labradors. I think there's so many good litters coming up, and I think there's some really good British litters coming up too. So I'm gonna be in the mindset of I'm gonna find the right breeding for me at that time. So I'm gonna keep a rose puppy because this year I'm ready to start over with my lines and have a new puppy that's a member of my family. But in a year, if there's another British litter that comes up that I like, whoa, I didn't even know this was happening, and I really liked it, I would do that. Or same sense of oh, that this is a really nice American breeding. I know mom and dad of that breeding. I would love a pup. Boom, I'll pick that puppy up. It'd be
Yeah.
mine. So I'm not like married to one side or the other. I do prefer British Labs, but there's so many good breedings coming up that you can take your pick, kind of
Yeah.
what side you want. You gotta draw your pros and cons out with every litter.
Yeah.
American or British. It's finding the temperament you like, the size, the color, all this stuff plays a factor into it, right?
Yeah.
So it's just finding the one that fits your training style and fits your goals. Now, if you sit there and say, I want a master hunter qualified all age with some open placements, a British dog's probably not gonna be the right fit, right? But
Yeah.
if you're like, "Man, I want a really good hunting dog. I wanna run some HRC. I wanna run some master, maybe some qualifying stakes. I wanna do something like that, maybe run the Grand or the Master National," then you can pick either side of the fence
Yeah.
and pick, if you got an American breeding that you like, you pick that breeding and you can do it. You find a really nicely bred British breeding, you can do the same thing. It's just knowing what you have potential wise before you buy the puppy. You can't go buy a puppy that's not bred to run hunt tests, try to run hunt tests, and they get mad at the breeder or the dog that they're not able to do the work.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't stack the odds in your favor. If I'm gonna go do something, I'm gonna stack the odds in my favor, give me every opportunity to be successful that I possibly can. And it just comes down to picking the right breeding and putting in the legwork to get the most out of the dog. But somebody gives me a chance to stack the deck, I'm gonna stack the deck, and that's what you do, right? You give the dogs the best opportunity based off their parents' lineages and based off the direction that you want to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Very well said. Stack the odds in your favor, especially when it comes to dog training and picking out a puppy, right? I mean, that's
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
the key.
You never know how they're gonna turn out,
Right.
but I'm gonna get the best one that I can find that I can afford and at the right time,
Yeah.
and that's what I think helps people out. If people could just understand that versus I'm only gonna buy an American or I'm only gonna buy a British dog. It's like, well, hold on. The guy that says I'm only gonna buy an American dog, a British dog may fit his style better.
Yeah.
Um, he just gotta you've gotta look at pedigrees and you gotta look at parent mom and dad.
Yeah.
You gotta look at mom and dad. I think personally, I think mom carries a lot of weight, a lot more weight than a lot of people kind of put into play. But dad carries a ton of weight too. So if mom is cool, calm, and collected, but dad can't sit still for 3 seconds, there's a good chance those puppies can't sit still.
Yep.
But but then again, there's also a chance that mom and dad even each other out. It's such a roll of the dice, but you base it off of pedigree, you base it off of parents, and you base it off of what you want to do. And you find the best way to do that, and you go with that on whether it's British or it's American.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally agree. Uh, you mentioned hunt tests for the late summer, early fall. What's kind of your schedule look like for the rest of this year in terms of hunt tests? Where are you headed?
Yeah. So I've got a master test in July, mid July, I think. One of our local tests. So I think I've got 2 dogs in that. I'm gonna run 2 dogs in that. Um, I'll run a day of finished in July, I think, in Mississippi. Potentially, I'm looking at some tests. I think Mississippi, Alabama area. I think North Alabama or something like that. Might run a day down there, and then try to finish out some stuff. I'd really like to get that rose pup JoJo. Really like to get her a title by the time she goes home because she's so much fun and her owners are the best people and the dog can do the work and deserves it. So I'm gonna give her every opportunity and try to finish out Rise finish title and this year at some point. And I think run a double master with Rose in the fall before we shut it down to have puppies, and that'll give her her master title. She needs 3 master passes to have her master title. So run one in July, and then a double will give me my 3 total for the year. I'll have my 6 passes. So we'll try to do that, but time will tell. Um, just depends on how much vacation days I have, and again with what the kiddos got going on or the kiddo has going on. It all depends, man. But that's kind of my rough schedule is 2 things in July, early July, and then some stuff late July, early August, and maybe make a grand run if we got the dogs in the kennels to do so.
Awesome. Well, Blake, that's all the questions I have for you. This has been awesome. Really, really enjoy. We've been actually really blessed with some awesome guests. People that are just people, good communicators, right? You're one of them. I mean, you tell your story really well, and all of our guests have just been awesome. So
Yeah,
and I've heard a lot of feedback too, where people are, um, messaging me or texting me saying, "Hey, like you're doing it. We like your podcast and we like hearing your story." And that's kind of what this is about, right? I didn't want this to be I'm going to leave the technical parts to Bob and uh, the Doghouse podcast and all those. I'm not going to come on here and tell people what to do because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Right. I just wanted
yeah,
this to be, I want this to kind of just be like, let people tell their story, and just kind of, get your name out there. And although, a lot of people know you already, but, um, like I said, we've just been really lucky to have some awesome people and you've been one of them. So I really, really appreciate you coming on and telling your story. I hope the beginning of this podcast recorded well. I know we had some technical difficulties. It usually pans out, but the latter half of this has been flawless. So, um,
perfect.
if
Say, if we need to redo it and splice it together, we're gonna splice
yeah,
it. We'll splice it together, man. I appreciate the opportunity, man. After you had Bart on a couple of weeks ago, and you guys had talked, and he'd mentioned me and Skyla out in Oklahoma. Well, we're friends. Me and Skyla are friends, so we're texting back and forth like we might have to get security now that we got shouted out on a podcast. Like I don't know if I can leave my house now. So
yeah,
it's really cool, man. You've had some really good guests. I love what you guys are doing, man. And you guys are always welcome this way. If you ever come down to Kentucky, you're more than welcome to come hang out with us for a couple days.
I appreciate it, man. Hopefully, we'll run into you some at some hunt test. I still don't know like what we're gonna do. It's usually always the end of summer, early
Hmm.
fall when we kind of get started, and our pups aren't ready yet for season. But yeah, we'll stay in touch,
Yeah,
see if we can meet up sometime. But good luck to you for the rest of the way. And we'd love to have you back sometime. So, Blake, thanks again for jumping on, and look forward to talking to you again.
appreciate it, man. Have a good night.